Hello students, welcome to today's class. In the last class, we have discussed about momentum and force. Today we will see the units of force and Newton's second law of motion and Newton's third law of motion. So now first of all we will see the units of force. So force is calculated by the formula F is equal to m into a. M stands for mass and a stands for acceleration of the body. So first of all we see the SI unit of force. The SI unit of force is Newton. And in short form we write capital M. It is the name of a person. And if we write it fully, then we write Newton. So this is the SI unit of force. Suppose the mass of body is 1 kilogram. Mass of a body is 1 kilogram. And the acceleration produced is 1 meter per second square. Then force is said to be 1 Newton. So 1 Newton is the force which acts on a body of mass 1 kilogram and produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. So Newton is that force which acts on a body of mass 1 kilogram, produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. So this is the definition of Newton. The CGS unit of force. CGS unit of force is dyne. Suppose the mass is 1 gram. Mass of a body is 1 gram and acceleration produced is 1 centimeter per second square. Then force is said to be 1 dyne. So 1 dyne is the force which acts on a body of mass 1 gram, produces an acceleration of 1 centimeter per second square. So this is the definition of CGS unit of force. Now we will see the relationship between SI and CGS units of force. What is the relationship between SI and CGS unit of force? So 1 Newton is the force which acts on a body of mass 1 kilogram, produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. So 1 Newton is equal to 1 kilogram into 1 meter per second square. We convert kilogram into gram. 1 kilogram is equal to 1000 gram and 1 meter is 100 centimeter. So 1 Newton is equal to 1000 into 100 gram centimeter per second square. 1000 into 100, that we can write it as 10 to the power 5 gram centimeter per second square. Then 1 gram centimeter per second square is called dyne. So gram centimeter per second square is replaced as dyne. So 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. So this is the relationship between SI and CGS units of force. Now the next is Newton's second law of motion. So Newton's second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is equal to the force applied, and this change takes place in the direction of force. So this is Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion, which is also known as law of momentum. So which states that the rate of change of momentum, the rate of change of momentum of a body is equal to the force applied, and this change takes place in the direction of force. The rate of change of momentum, delta P upon delta T, which is equal to the force applied. And you know what is momentum? Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. The rate of change of momentum, which is equal to the force applied, and this change takes place in the direction of force applied. Now we see some examples of Newton's second law of motion or law of momentum. When a cricketer takes a catch, while catching a ball, he moves his hand along with the ball. So all of a sudden, he doesn't stop the ball which is coming. So while catching a ball, all of a sudden he doesn't stop the ball. He moves his hand along with the ball. So what is the reason behind it? So as I told you that force is equal to rate of change of momentum. So rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum is change in momentum. Change in momentum upon time taken. So suppose that the ball is coming with a certain velocity, initial velocity is there, and when it comes to the state of rest, that time final velocity is 0. So rate of change in momentum means the change in momentum upon time taken. Change in momentum upon time taken. So in order to the body, or in this case the ball is coming with a certain velocity. Here a certain velocity is there. Then it comes to the state of rest. Final velocity is 0. So in order to bring this, when he moves his hand along with the ball while catching the ball, when he moves his hand along with the ball, so he can increase the time interval. He can increase the time interval to bring the ball from a certain speed to this speed of 0. So time can be increased. When the time is increased, then naturally when the denominator is more, the value as a whole, that will come less. So what will happen? The change in momentum upon time, that value will be less. So less force will be acting on his hand. So that is the reason when a cricketer catches a ball, so along with the ball, so he moves his hand along with the ball. This is to increase the time interval to bring the ball to the state of rest, so that less force acts on his hand. Now next example. The athletes who take part in high jump or long jump, they are not advised to jump on a hard surface. They are advised to jump in a sand pit. So what is the reason? Suppose that if they jump on a hard surface, those who are taking part in high jump, suppose that they land on a hard surface, then all of a sudden their body will come to the state of rest. So time interval will be less. This time will be less. Then what will happen? So all of a sudden the final velocity becomes 0. So time taken for a body to come to the state of rest will be less. If the time is less, then force will be more. Then more force will be exerted by the hard surface on their body. So they will experience more force. They can be injured. And if the same thing, if they jump in a sand pit, then the time interval to come from body from a certain velocity to the velocity of 0 meter per second, that time interval will be more. The time interval will be more, then what will happen? That less force will be acting on their body and nothing will happen to them. And the next is Newton's third law of motion. Newton's third law of motion states that to every action there is always an equal and opposite reaction. So this is Newton's third law of motion. To every action there is always an equal and opposite reaction. Now I am standing on the floor. I exert a force on the floor. That is the action. So that action force is acting on the floor. And the floor is exerting a force on me. That is the reaction. Action and reaction will never act on the same body. In this case, when I stand, I exert a force on the floor. That is the action. So action force is acting on the floor. And the floor is exerting a force on me, the opposite direction. That is the reaction force. So reaction force is acting on me. So action and reaction are acting on different bodies. The Newton's third law of motion states that to every action there is always an equal and opposite reaction. Now we will see an experiment demonstrating Newton's third law of motion. So in the diagram you can see two spring balances named as A and B. This is spring balance B, this is spring balance A. So this is a wall, and on the wall you can see a hook. This is the ring of the spring balance B. So the ring of spring balance B that is put on this hook. Then this is the hook of the spring balance B, and this is the hook of spring balance A. Both are attached with each other. So you can see everything in the diagram. And this is the ring of spring balance A. Then on the spring balance A man pulls the ring of spring balance A. Then the spring will elongate and it will show a certain reading. And that force is transferred to the spring balance B. Then that will also elongate and it will show a reading. So the force which acts on spring B by A, that is the action force. The force which acts on spring B by A, that is the action force. Then you can see a certain reading. What is the action force? So that this reading is 4 kgf. So action is 4 kgf. Now this will exert a force on this spring. The force which acts on spring A by B, that is the reaction force. Action force is force which acts on B by A, and reaction is force which acts on A by B. That is a reaction force. Then you see the value. You can see that this is also 4 kgf. Action is 4 kgf and reaction is also 4 kgf. And this is in the opposite direction. Action is in this direction and reaction is in this direction. They are in the opposite direction, but magnitude is same. So this is Newton's third law of motion. To every action, there is always an equal and opposite reaction. Now we see some examples of action and reaction. In this picture you can see a boy is catching a ball. While catching a ball, the ball exerts a force on the palm of the boy. This is the action force. The force exerted by the ball on the palm of the boy. That is the action. And the boy exerts an equal force on the ball to stop it. That is the reaction force. So in this picture, you can see a rocket in motion. So in a rocket, fuel is burned inside the rocket, and the burned gases at high pressure and high temperature are expelled out of the rocket through a nozzle. Thus, rocket exerts a force of action, force on gases, that is the action, to expel them through the nozzle backward. The outgoing gases exert an equal and opposite force, which is the reaction on the rocket, due to which it moves in the upward or forward direction. So in this picture, you can see firing a bullet from a gun. When a man fires a bullet from a gun, a force is exerted on the bullet. That is the action. And the gun experiences an equal recoil, which is the reaction force. In this picture, you can see the motion of a man on ground. When a man applies a force F, so this is the action force, backward by his foot on the ground against the force of friction. So this is the force exerted by man on ground, which is the action force in this case. Then the ground will exert an equal and opposite force, which is called the reaction force. So the ground exerts an equal and opposite force on foot of the man, that is the reaction force. This is a force exerted by man on ground is the action force, and force exerted by ground on foot, that is the reaction force. In this picture you can see an object kept on a tabletop. The weight of this object which acts vertically downward, and this object exerts a force on the surface of this tabletop, that is the action force. And this tabletop exerts a force on the object in the opposite direction, that is in the upward direction, that is the reaction force. So we have seen many examples of Newton's third law. what is the action and what is the reaction. Suppose that when I apply force on this wall, I apply force on the wall. So this is the force of action. The force exerted by me on the wall, that is the action force. Then this wall exerts a force on me, that is the force of reaction. So you can see from all these examples, you can see that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. To every action there is always an equal and opposite reaction. And one thing more you have seen clearly, action and reaction never acts on the same body. Action and reaction are acting on different bodies. Action and reaction will never act on the same body. They will always act on different bodies. So this is Newton's third law. In next class we will discuss a new topic.